Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, fantastic. I always like to know who's in the room, make sure I'm not on my own. I'm Tolu Oni. I'll be your moderator today. I'm a public health physician and urban epidemiologist, and I'm clinical director of research at the University of Cambridge. I work in global diet and activity research, so it's a real pleasure to be here kind of guiding the conversation today, which is on nutrition security. So we're going to be focusing on on nutrition security to highlight that we are facing, when we talk about food, what we're facing today is in fact a triple burden of malnutrition. When we often think about malnutrition, a lot of focus, and rightly so, has been on undernutrition. But often forgotten is that we have two other dimensions of malnutrition, nutrition deficiency, and critically overnutrition, overweight and obesity. And the reality is that whilst there remains quite a fair bit of work to do on undernutrition, the prevalence of undernourishment globally has been going down significantly. But what is on the rise, again globally on every continent, is overweight and obesity. And we've seen that more than triple since 1975. So now we have more than 2 billion people globally who are overweight or obese. So this is a significant challenge, right? Because we know that poor nutrition is a significant driver of non-communicable diseases, and we're seeing this on the rise globally, including in low and middle income contexts. Now with COVID, that has brought home to us that when we talk about obesity, when we talk about nutrition, we're not just talking about a siloed, non-communicable disease, something that's separate. But it really unearthed something we've known for a long time, which is that malnutrition also increases the risks of infectious diseases. And we saw this in COVID, where countries that had over 50% of overweight and obesity had 10 times higher COVID mortality than those that didn't. So really what we're talking about is a systemic issue. It's also important for climate change, right? Global food and agriculture is a key driver of climate change. And some of the work we've done looking at health impact of climate mitigation has found food to be one of the top 3 critical pathways if we are to get the health benefits from climate action. So what we're talking about here is a planetary health issue. Have I sufficiently painted the gravity of the issue, right? This is not simple issues. And the scale of the systems transformation we will need is immense. But let's say in no uncertain terms that the alternative path of not doing anything is untenable. Because what we have is incredibly hidden costs both to health and to the planet. Over and above actually what we're spending. So on one hand, the cost of inaction is high. On the other hand, on the bright side, the opportunities to intervene, to actually change significantly our food system so that it works for us and for the planet are enormous, if only we can grasp that. Okay, so today we'll be talking about different aspects of the food system, particularly focused on availability, on access, and an adoption of nutritional foods. Because often when we're talking about food, we're often talking about individual behavior, but we really need to tackle some of the systemic and more structural issues if we are to really take a more systems transformation approach. So on that note, we are honored to have His Excellency Ferdinand Marcos, the President of the Philippines, join us, and just to open up the session to share your perspective on nutrition security in your context and why it is such a priority issue for the Philippines. Over to you, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much for your introduction. I'm pleased to be joining you this morning. And as we acknowledge the distinguished panel experts, academics, executives, and officials who we will be hearing from during the discussion period. It is quite apropos that we hold this gathering prior to taking our midday meal for the day. For us in the Philippines, an essential and perennial component of a meal is one served with rice. Filipinos join over half the global population where rice is an essential grain, the veritable stuff of life. We simply cannot get enough rice. It was not too long ago, just over 70 years, when the Philippines embarked on an experiment to fortify rice with thiamine and other nutrients, where these This experiment helped solve the severe problem that was existing in our country then of beriberi, which was a leading cause of death at the time. It's now considered as a model for public health nutrition and for rice enrichment programs in other countries. Beyond rice, we created the National Nutrition Council 48 years ago to supervise, coordinate, and evaluate the National Nutrition Program for all public and private agencies. Food security remains at the forefront of our national agenda. Anchored on our vision for a prosperous, resilient, and secure Philippines by the year 2040, are the overreaching goals of this administration that are to build an inclusive society when no one is hungry, where Filipinos live long and healthy lives, and where they are provided with an environment built upon trust and security, and where they can be innovative and remain smart and responsive to the problems of the day. Underscoring all these lofty goals is ensuring that each and everyone is provided with quality and ample nutrition. In a 2021 Global Food Security Index, the Philippines ranked a modest 64th out of 113 countries in 4 dimensions of food security metrics. We have made significant gains in the past few years, but more certainly needs to be done if we are to attain Sustainable Development Goal 2 on zero hunger. It bears emphasizing that the challenge of nutrition is different for you and for me, from your economy to mine, from us here to the people back home. Among our priority interventions are those geared towards making food available, affordable, accessible amid the looming global food and energy shortage. Government spending will focus on productivity-enhancing interventions for the agricultural sector. Research and development is going to be a very important component for this, as with the advent, as has been mentioned, with the advent of the climate change issues. The impact on climate change has to be part of that discussion. Government spending will focus on on the agricultural sector, but also it will in the distribution sector. For as all governments, we buy a lot of food to provide for our schools. There's a feeding program for children to provide for, especially during the pandemic, for assistance to those who are in trouble. And we have learned during our sessions here that systems-based and data-driven cooperation is key to achieving security, and the challenge we face in nutrition is no exception. So let me offer a few ideas. We must, first of all, boost productivity in agriculture and fisheries, including through climate-resilient technologies, and promote production even in non-agricultural areas, such as urban and vertical farming and community gardening for subsistence supply. The food from the toil of our own hands is the food that will most nourish our bodies. We must invest in facilities, logistics, and systems that bring the nutritious food to our people, much like a grander scale of farm to table, and increase the capacity of our institutions to enforce regulations that enhance food quality. We must also cooperate to develop technologies that increase the nutritional value of our food and content and prolong their shelf life, which are sometimes contrary goals. And again, we count on the research and development that will be undertaken and the new technologies that will be discovered for us to be able to bridge that gap. Let us incentivize a nutritious lifestyle, promote active and health-seeking behaviors across different ages and income levels, and create an ecosystem based on the concept of green and circular economy. We are looking to working with the WEF and various stakeholders on a holistic and integrated plan covering both food security and nutrition security. The work of the WEF's New Frontiers of Nutrition, a vital component of the equally vital Future of Consumption platform, is commendable in this regard in providing us all with the first big leap towards nutrition security through a common paradigm on the purpose of nutrition and the future of food. and developing principles and indicators to sustain our efforts while aiming to create economic value for nutrition. Friends and partners, I look forward to productive and insightful outcomes from this discussion today. I'm confident we will be able to arouse high-impact, actionable, and collective ideas to steer us all forward on our common goal of nutrition security, not only in health and food, but especially in the quality of that food. I wish you all a nutritious lunch, but not to be had before an enjoyable and productive panel session. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for just highlighting, I like the one word you said, which was action, action-oriented. So just heads up, panelists are going to be focused on pinning it down. I'd like to acknowledge the forum's Future of Consumption platform and the New Frontiers of Nutrition initiative, which the President mentioned earlier, for their role in bringing these partners together to look at how we can improve nutrition security.